Yo, 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 it's your boy, MegaZakari. Financial responsibility, a heated topic in today's society. Say you want a higher education, but do not have the funds for it, nor the means of obtaining a sugar daddy or mommy to help pay for it. What do? You take out a loan, of course. Now, with a loan comes interest. I'm not talking 5 or 6.5% interest. I'm talking that 10 to 25% interest for the next 50 years, baby. You can't afford that, right? After all, we calculated that the minimum wages we've offered can cover the monthly payments, but only the monthly payments. Food, housing, extracurricular activities. Sorry, but you should have budgeted better. Today, we are taking a look at the perfect example of a man taking on financial responsibility. A story where one man is not only willing to pay back what he received, but to also pay an infinite amount of interest as well. I am talking about Redo of Healer, a 12-episode series released in 2021 by Kadokawa, aka the ones responsible for the isekai overpopulation problem. Redo of Healer was touted as literal fucking garbage by at least 5 people, and is said to be full of nothing but Bill Cosby's favorite American pastime from front to back. However, that is wrong, for it has much, much more. In no particular order, Redo of Healer has sex, rape, 3-ways, 4-ways, game-based, gender bending, cannibalism, roofies, incest, bestiality, necrophilia, death by fucking, and so much more. After spending 10 plus hours binging the entire series twice, I am here to present the unfiltered, the unobstructed, the full Monty of Redo of Healer. Before we begin, let's talk about how you can watch Redo of Healer. The entire first season can be watched on High Dive, albeit it will be the censored version. In all honesty, some of the more gratuitous scenes of the anime work better in the censored version, in a story perspective. If you want the full not safe for work experience, you're gonna have to break out your mother's credit card. Preferably not the one already maxed out due to her out of control shopping tendencies. Mommy needs her antidepressants after all. A Blu-ray copy of Redo of Healer can be bought online for at least $39.99 US, or to put another way, the price of roughly 4 copies of Shrek 2 on the PS2. If you do not want to sell off your Shrek 2 collection, you can simply ask your online friend to loan you their copy of the series. That friend's name is Mr. Anime, whose son is named Nine for some reason. Anyway, let's begin. Redo of Healer is about a guy named Kiaru, who rolled for healer after reaching the tender old age of 14 years old. Unfortunately, the World of Warcraft server Kiaru is playing on doesn't have many healers online, and thus is dragged into a non-consensual raid party for the next 4 years. During this time, he roleplays as both a Pringles can and that lightsaber your mom has under her bed, much to his chagrin. After the final fight against the Demon Lord, Kiaru rolls need for this Philosopher's Stone, even though that is a mage-only item. He then transfers his consciousness to his younger self, planning his revenge on those who have wronged him. And who has wronged Kiaru, you may be asking? Heroes. Specifically, 3 of the realm's best heroes. Flare, the Marine Antoinette of the mage class. Blade, the date rapist of the party, but it's okay because she's a feminist. And Bullet, who treats Kiaru like Lenny treats rabbits, but with a little too much love. All of this torture just to fuel Kiaru's crippling lean addiction. We've all been there, Kiaru. For me, it was Steam calling me kitten, as they asked me to open my money hole for them for the 5th time this week. How can I say no? when they have Yakuza 0 on sale for $5. Anyway, where was I? Ah, yes. Kiaru transfers his consciousness to his younger self, beginning the cycle all over again. However, Kiaru has already technically beaten the game of life, and thus begins a new game plus with a legendary item, the Halcyon Eye. With this newly acquired piece of cosplay swag, Kiaru can see the stats of everything within creation, basically wall hacks for the soul. With this newfound knowledge of the events that are to be transpired, Kiaru prepares himself by microdosing on mushrooms and crack cocaine leaves. It's okay though, he can stop when he wants to. After being recruited by Princess Flare once again and brought to the capital, he is courted by the group of maids working at the castle, who, under strict maid union laws, must fuck and suck the life out of Kiaru every night during his stay. Kiaru doesn't mind, as he is sucking the experience points from the maids, getting stronger with each bedridden maiden. Oh yeah, this world is governed by video game logic, by the way. More on that later. After a while, the king asks Kiaru to use his healing powers to bring back the Blade Goddess's fapping arm. This is as good of a time as any to explain what Kiaru's actual powers are. You see, whenever Kiaru heals, he sees and feels the memories of the person he is healing, with the nice side effect of gaining their experience as well. This, unfortunately, drives him mad during his first go at life, and thus shunned by the heroes. Later on, he can also achieve corruption, transmutation, alchemy, shapeshifting, and rewrite. In short, by the end of episode 3, he becomes a Minecraft server admin, and everyone else is stuck in survival mode. After refusing to comply with the kingdom's demands, Princess Flare throws Kiaru into the Discord dungeons, where she locks Kiaru into the not safe for work channels and gives him the role of dog heart emoji. For the next 6 months, he is brutally abused, sexually and mentally, all while drowning in lean. After these 6 months, Kiaru achieves what many other lean connoisseurs cannot, quitting because he wants to. He then wreaks havoc on the castle, forcing the Knight Captain to recreate face-off with him, and tricks Princess Flare into her bedchambers, where they play the Serbian family favorite, Russian Fingers. Princess Flare loses the game and has won an all-expense-paid trip to Pound Town with a first-class ticket on the Kiaru train. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. After the round trip to Pound Town, Kiaru then initiates the final blow, erasing Princess Flare's memories, editing her in The Sims by changing her face, name, and relationship status to waifu. The next morning, after a quick, totally consensual mating scene, the new duo of Kiaruga and Freya set off for adventure. Also, good job on hiding your identity there, Kiaru, by adding a GA to the end of it. It's like the Japanese version of changing your name from Bob to Bobby, or Billy Bob. Oh yeah, this all happens within the first 2 episodes.
Finally awake.
After arriving at the city of Lanarita, Kiaruga and Freya began work on saving the city's water poison problem the same way the government solves the diabetes problem, with monetary gain in mind. After earning enough gold from selling the latest vaccine, Kiaruga buys a goddamn ice wolf girl slave named Setsuna, who, like all dogs in the world, is a good girl, and I would happily allow her to kill her enemies in a quest for revenge. Setsuna is the anime's best character, and is the poster child for the show to a lot of fans. Her character arc is arguably the least fucked out of the main ensemble, and her reasons for sticking around with Kiaruga makes the most sense as well. My sentiment towards Setsuna is platonic, of course. Kiaruga's sentiment, however, is, less so. Remember how I mentioned how this world is dictated by video game logic? Well, it's hentai game logic. You see, in this world, the level cap of most normie humans is 20, while champions and basic heroes are like 30 or 40. However, you got the legendary heroes who have an endless well of leveling to go through, and thus a never-ending grind, and thus have no cap. In order for the normies and other folk to get them gains and get the new expansions with the new level caps, they gotta do the deed with the legendary hero, which Kiaruga is. So in an attempt to make Setsuna stronger, Kureha does what all irresponsible dog owners do and leaves the gift jar open. After saving Setsuna's Ice Wolf village and a quickie, the now trio goes to make a final raw deal with their now former business partner, where we see exactly what Kureha thinks of his newfound waifus.
ケアルガ様はお強いようですが、そこのお二人を守りながらそれができますかな。
ケアルガ様、私たちも。
そうだな、その通りだ。だが何を勘違いしているんだ。こいつらは俺の道具だ。俺はこの二人を犠牲にしてでもお前たちを皆殺しにする。簡単なことだよ。
Yes, you heard that right. These two wonderful examples of potential waifu figure merch are just that. Tools, instruments to be used and abused by Kureha in his quest for revenge. One would argue that this is but a bluff. However, later on in the same episode, Kureha gets pissed when Freya gets clobbered by Clairette. Not because he's concerned by her well-being, no, but pissed that Clairette would dare enter his property. Like an angry little shitling child, angry that his mommy's putting away his Legos. Speaking of Clairette, let's talk about that bad bitch. I'm sorry, my dear audience, you have been tricked, bamboozled, japed even. For the best waifu in the entire series is in fact Kureha Clairette, the blade goddess of the Gyrola Kingdom. She is possibly the only genuine character in the entire series besides Setsuna, full of a strong sense of justice and a genuinely good example of a decent, lawful good character. Compared to the rest of the cast, Clairette's character is a refreshing change of pace. She comes into the bigger picture when she comes to Lanarita, attempting to find out what happened at the Ice Wolf village. Upon finding the crew, she engages in a fucking awesome sword fight with Kureha, where she was severely outmatched. You know, it is a shame that Princess Flare died of ligma.
What the hell is ligma?
Princess flaring on my dick. Got him! After the bout, she spends the night at Kureha's crib, where K-Dog drops the truth bomb on Clairette about the true nature of the kingdom. And by truth, I mean K's skewed version of the truth, like bad Soviet history revisionism. Upon this newfound revelation, Clairette fully submits to Kureha's cause, both spiritually and very much physically. Hippity hoppity haifu, we got ourselves another waifu. What's next? Oh yeah, the kingdom is in town with their circus, and their show animals are people. The mission is only one whole Kureha. You see, Captain Nick Cage has survived at the end of the face-off, and is now ready for his next hit Hollywood role. Punished Nick Cage. A man denied his Flare waifu body pillow. He attacks K's village on the pretext that they were playing Warhammer 40k. And unlike the Kingdom, who plays as the Imperium of Man, the villagers play as the Tau, like the fucking heretics that they are. And like real-life Tau players, they must be purged from the planet. Among the supposed heretics is the peaceful good girl Anna, Kiaru's guardian and possibly only true love. In an attempt to draw out Kureha, Captain Nick Cage takes Anna to Sneed's Feed and Seed in front of a live studio audience. Kureha takes this about as well as you would expect. As revenge, Kay hunts down Captain Nick Cage and turns him into a Discord programmer, and even gives him some programming socks. How nice of him. Kay then throws Captain Nick Cage to the horny undead who help him rearrange his guts, so not so nice of him. After this minor skirmish, Kaoru finds Anna, but alas, it was too late. Despite his best efforts, he cannot heal her on time, and she dies in Kay's arms. How does Kureha handle this devastating loss of a loved one? By fucking the shit out of Freya and Setsuna, like full-on Michael Fassbendering that shit like in Shame. He fucked until there was no more tears, no more blood, just pure fuel for revenge. And it was at that night where Kureha decided to burn the entire kingdom to the ground. The morning after, Clairette informs Kureha about the kingdom's plan to host a flash mob in the Colosseum, where Kay's village people perform YMCA to the town of Lanarita. If they fail to do so, they will be punished via a deathening. But that's the least of Kay's worries right now, because Clyrette also informs Kay about a certain character's arrival, one whose mere existence puts Kay Aruga on edge. The arrival of the worst waifu trope in anime.
ただしお姉様を監視しなさい。お姉様ったら隠し事が多いんだもん。いい